Hey, I'm Kelly Hogan, and welcome back to my Zero Carb Life. Some of you may remember that I used to do these kind of goofy segments called the Carnivore News, in which I played this part of this sort of angry news anchor, and then also this goofy character, Kel, who would do sort of a lighthearted take on what was happening in the carnivore space. It was fun. I do hope to do it again, but for right now, I'm just going to give you the news without, the theatrics. If I were still making those segments right now, the top headliner of this week would be about adding back carbs. And I know that doesn't seem very carnivore newsish. But in the past couple of weeks, there have been some folks in the carnivore space to share that they are now eating carbs. And I promise I have nothing bad to say about them. For all of you drama queens out there, sorry to disappoint. My own husband eats a lot of meat, but he also includes fruits and vegetables and sometimes pizza. And he is in good health. In fact, he seems to be doing quite fine as an omnivore. My own children eat meat. They don't eat any added sugar or grains, except for sometimes some corn. They do eat fruits and vegetables. And again, they're happy little healthy omnivores that eat a meat-heavy, lower-carb diet. And I'm happy to report that that is working for them. So not only do I have nothing bad to say about these people, but I love them. These omnivores I live with are my family. So I promise I do not have any hostility issues towards carb eaters, especially if someone is feeling good and they are enjoying good health. I think most everyone in this carnivore space would agree with me on that, especially if you are able to eat other foods, non-meat foods, and you have no inflammation issues. You remain at a healthy weight that you're pleased with. You have good mental and physical health. Please carry on. Eat whatever works to give you those results. I am not in the business of recruiting happy, healthy people to do what I am doing. But this week, I did ask my group members one of my favorite questions that I ask quite often. Why do you do carnivore? The answers included Lisa G., who said, every single time I leave carnivore, my aches and pains come back and my mental health declines. Charlene said, quote, when I did cheat a couple of times in 2.5 years, something almost immediately started to hurt. No thanks. Carnivore gives me far more than it takes. It gives me the best life. Linda says, food noise comes screaming back, even when she adds a few carbs. Julia wrote that she now sleeps like she has never slept before and no longer has pain in her hips or joints. She now wakes up happy every day and her anxiety and panic attacks have gone away. Her eyesight has even improved to 20/20. She had a brain tumor for over a decade and all of that is gone now that she is carnivore. Even her fibromyalgia pain is gone. All of that happened over the past 6 years on a carb-free diet. I have now shared hundreds of videos on this channel, and many of them have been with just regular, real people who have shared their miraculous stories of healing that came when they cut out all carbs and ate an all-meat diet. None of those people were compensated in any way. They just want other people to feel better. I guess I could at least send them a free shirt or something. But no, they got nothing. Nothing. They just shared their stories. The thing is, adding back carbs just isn't an option for everyone. Carbs are an option for my husband and kids, and they may be an option for you. I don't know. What I do know is that I had awful IBS for 30 years until I went totally carnivore 16 years ago. I tried doing a very meat-based, almost carnivore diet. I did that very consistently for 5 years before I cut out the last of the plants. I still had this stabby belly pain after I would eat, even on an almost carnivore diet. I still had acne. I still had costochondritis pain that required me to take massive amounts, 800 milligrams at a time of ibuprofen just to get up off the couch. Very few carbs during that time. I didn't have a menstrual cycle for 2 years during that 5-year period of almost carnivore. I still had anxiety during that time. However, I was able to lose weight during that 5 years. I was eating mostly meat with some green beans, pickles, diet soda, and I did lose weight. My inflammation was under control enough that I stopped getting the boils. I still had the sternum pain, but even that small amount of carbs was enough to keep me from feeling my best. Even a small amount of nuts would cause me to get itchy in places I don't even want to talk about. Even artificial sweeteners kept the food noise alive in my brain, and the sugar obsession was just raging all the time. So for me, I do not talk about carnivore because I am dogmatic about what other people eat. I don't talk about it because I think it's the best way to lose weight. I know it's not the only way to lose weight because there are tons of studies to show otherwise. And I've experienced it myself. There are many studies showing that people can lose weight eating pretty much anything, as long as they are first brought up to their maintenance calories. So, meaning they have not been chronically under eating for many months or years. And in the studies, when they are able to maintain their weight, eating their maintenance calories, if they then go into a calorie deficit, let's call it an energy deficit, and they stay there consistently for several weeks, people will lose weight quite reliably in study after study. And that's actually quite easy for people to accomplish. Have you ever cut your food intake dramatically and lost weight? I have. I used to do it every year before the prom, before going to weddings, before big events. I would just eat less, move some more, and drop some weight. It's highly effective and well researched. A person who is eating enough, their maintenance calories or above, can eat less and they will drop weight. You could do that on a vegan diet. You can do that on a carnivore diet. You can do that on an omnivore diet or a carb-heavy diet. Just consume less energy than you expend, but not so much less that you then end up slowing down your metabolism and wrecking your health. You too can lose weight. Done. Except when I did that on a standard American diet, it was very hard to stick to this energy or calorie deficit. Those processed foods caused me to overeat. They were highly addictive. I wasn't getting all the nutrients that I needed from my food, so I couldn't sustain this energy deficit, and then I would regain the weight. On a plant-based diet, which I did toy with many years ago, people also can lose weight. I did. But then they often end up with oxalate toxicity, joint pains, nutrient deficiencies if they aren't heavily supplementing. And for me, I was able to lose weight on a low-carb diet. I even have a video on how well it worked for weight loss. I'll link to it below. But I still had health problems that just wouldn't go away. So that didn't work either. And this is why the big time weight loss researchers and these guys with PhDs in physique management, they say the best diet out there is simply the one you stick to. And what they mean is any diet plan, any food plan will work for weight loss as long as it allows you to feel satisfied enough to stick to that energy deficit. You're going to lose weight. And if it's sustainable enough and you can just keep on doing it, then you can keep the weight off. I have never tried to tell a soul that eating only meat is the only way to lose weight. But if you ever had that impression, I should tell you, it's not. It's not the only way. For me, though, eating only meat was the only way that I was able to stay satisfied, get my nutritional needs met, like micronutrients, have plenty of protein, the macronutrients for my muscles, have plenty of fat for my hormones, and it kept out the fiber that had wrecked my gut for the first 30 years, the sugar that kept giving me all these cravings and causing me to overeat, and it kept out the plants that gave me the mental anxiety and the skin issues. By eating this way, I can feel my best and look my best. So this is a no-brainer for me. There are some people in the carnivore space, though, that did not have boils or acne or costochondritis, constant food noise, or even IBS. They had no health issues prior to eating this way. Maybe they had a weight issue, maybe they had an eating disorder, and that's a great reason to try carnivore because carnivore is wonderful for those things. But then when those issues are resolved, so either the weight is off or they're no longer binging and they learned how to actually nourish themselves without having to purge afterwards, then they likely can go back to adding carbs. We know that carbs aren't necessary for a human to survive. They are the one macronutrient out of protein, fat, carbs. Carbs are the only one that is not required. But some people do find them helpful when it comes to their sleep. It may be helpful for someone with really high cortisol levels for their body to be less stressed. They may find that they simply enjoy eating the carbs and those foods don't cause them any issues. Cool. To be completely honest, if I didn't have any health issues before carnivore, I don't know that I would have avoided all carbohydrates for the past 16 years myself. And I probably would be adding back carbs too. I hope we can still be friends for me saying that. And that's why for many people, carnivore it's a great elimination diet. If they were to do it for 90 days, they could feel better. And then if they want to, they could start slowly figuring out which foods they're able to add back while still keeping all of the positive benefits. I have no hard feelings for anyone that does that, whether they do it for 90 days or for years. I am not out here trying to make the entire world total carnivores for the rest of their lives. I promise. But I just know that for myself and for many other people that I see and interact with on a weekly basis, it is not that simple. Many of them started eating this way because their joints were killing them. They had skin issues, gut issues, food noise, declining eyesight, lesions on their brain, seizures, cancer diagnosis, autoimmune disease, diabetes, you name it. And doing low carb was not enough for them. Sometimes doing keto wasn't enough for them. Most of the people that I know in my carnivore groups, they have already tried low calorie diets, low fat diets, paleo, low carb, keto, and then they came to carnivore because it's like their one last shot at saving their life or at least improving their quality of life. And that is me too. Me too. Me too. This was never just about me dropping the last bit of a muffin top. It's about finding a way to eat, because we all have to eat, and feel good at the same time. And in this process, yes, I also lost 130 pounds. If I were able to feel exactly this good, stay at this weight, keep away all the food noise, have this same level of health while still eating a wide variety of all foods, I would. It's just not the case. It's not the case for me. I eat a wide variety of meats, mostly very fatty ones, and I am a fat-fueled, happy little carnivore. And the reason I currently eat a high-fat carnivore diet is because it is currently what my body is craving and what is giving me my best results. I have also done a much lower fat version of carnivore through the years, and that worked fine for me too. I did find when I dropped my fat below 60% calories from fat, I started to get some issues like constipation, fatigue, low libido, poor sleep, dark circles under my eyes, and dry skin. I recently posted a survey to my group members, and this is not a small number of people, and the vast majority said that they also get their best results when they keep their fat higher. Here, I'll show you. Okay, I posed the question in the groups. Which macros currently make you feel your best and give you the best results? These were the survey results from my Monday, September groups. I know it's now October, but the October people were just getting started, and I thought they may not know yet. Okay, there are some people, 7%, they don't track because they just do intuitive carnivore. They don't know. They don't need to track. Great. 44% feel their best if they keep fat at 75% or higher. That is high-fat carnivore. 22% said, I feel my best, get best results if I keep my fat around 65 to 75%. That's what I would call standard carnivore diet. We're talking burger patties, bacon, New York strip, eggs. Kind of like Dr. Berry, beef, butter, bacon, and eggs. Great. 10% of people said they felt their best if they stayed at a lower fat, 60% of their calories from fat. And in the Monday groups, 0 people said that they get their best if they drop fat to less than 60%. This aligns with my experience as well, but guess what it also aligns with? The Wednesday groups from that same exact survey. Look at the lay of the survey here. Click. Almost identical. The Wednesday groups did not even see, they didn't copy each other's papers. It's private. They didn't know what the other groups had done. I did not share till the survey was complete, both groups. So 13% don't track at all, 45% high fat, 25% standard carnivore, burger patties, steak, eggs. 1% feel great and get best results on a lower fat, 60% carnivore diet, and 1% gets their best results with less fat than that. Now, even though the vast majority said that they feel better on either standard carnivore or higher fat, if somebody finds that they get their best results eating a very lean carnivore diet, that is great. It simply means that it is entirely possible that you are not me. That might be okay. When fat does drop very, very low, dietary fat, when someone eats very low fat carnivore, they will almost certainly have to add back some carbs though, because there are only 3 macros to choose from: fat, carbs, and protein. And only 2 of those are good energy sources: fat and carbs. Fat or carbs. You have to pick one or the other. You have to have energy. We cannot survive on purely protein. Quick story. I have a good friend. She loves eating a very lean version of carnivore. So way less than 60% calories from fat. She eats like super lean, little red steaks with almost no fat on it. She eats a lot of fish and a lot of chicken. But she also has to supplement her carnivore diet with some carbs. Don't panic, y'all. Hang with me here. So because she has some health issues that come back if she adds plants or fiber, she gets all of her carbs from animal products. We can get a lot of carbs from animals. And I do have some group members that sleep better when they have some carbs. And they do lose weight better when they trade out some of the fat for some carbs. But they also don't do well with fiber and plants, like me, like Linda. So instead, they get their carbs from kefir, milk, cottage cheese, low-fat Greek yogurt, egg whites, high-carb seafoods like scallops and oysters. What a great workaround, right? They keep all the health benefits from carnivore, but yet they still have some carbs that help them to just feel better and keep their fat lower, which does work better for some people when it comes to weight loss. And I love that. I have not needed to go that route, but it's an awesome option. One serving, just one little serving of unsweetened pure kefir has 9 carbs. For some people, just a couple servings in the evenings or a few servings per day of these animal carbs is enough to replace the energy that they would have gotten from a higher fat carnivore diet. And for some folks, lowering the fat, increasing their animal carbs, it can improve results. And that's a total win in my book. Okay, to sum this up, our food should simply be about meeting our needs. If you are a healthy person that thrives while eating a whole food, omnivorous diet, great. Same for my husband. He does not call himself a carnivore or anything. He just eats meat with some carbs. He lifts weights, takes walks, and he calls himself a happy person. He doesn't need a label for that. If you are a person that thrives on a high-fat carnivore diet like myself right now, that's wonderful. Enjoy those ketones, baby. Ketosis is very muscle-sparing. So if you are in ketosis and you are lifting weights, you can build muscle. You could also, by being carnivore, avoid the foods that make you feel bad and have a wonderful life. If you, however, are a lower fat carnivore right now, you enjoy lean meats, you can also build muscle because you're getting all those amino acids from the proteins. As long as you're doing it while you're lifting weights, lovely. Enjoy your muscles. If you decide you want to lower your fat dramatically, then you will need to either change that up and add back some fat, or add in some carbohydrates. If you handle plants just fine, you could add back carbs in the form of fiber and starches. If you're like many of the people I know and you don't handle fiber and plants very well, then you could add back the carbs in the form of these high-carb animal products. I have seen that work beautifully. No matter what route you take, as long as you're not chronically undereating for years, and as long as you're not putting in a bunch of toxic junk that's raising your inflammation, you can lose weight if you simply go from eating an adequate amount maintenance calories to an energy deficit. It is all about you finding a way to do that that gives you plenty of nutrients, allows you to sustain it, and allows you to feel good in the process. For me, that is carnivore. And for you, it might be something else. If you need help figuring out how to get started with carnivore, you think, I don't know, I haven't tried that one. Maybe I could try it. Or maybe you've already tried and you're just struggling to stick to it. If you want to find out how to tweak a high-fat carnivore diet, lived that. If you want to try a lower-fat carnivore diet, yep, I've lived that too. I've made that work. Or if you want to try a higher animal carb diet while still keeping all of the health benefits that you got in the first place when you removed fiber, starches, and carbs, I would love to work with you. As for me, though, I am still over here just eating meat and trying to save the humans that really need this way of eating. I hope you are doing well, no matter what you choose to eat. I hope you're doing great. And please don't give up. Hope abounds, my friends. And I hope to see you back next Saturday. Bye.